Hi everyone, my name is Cassie and welcome to my channel Bookish for Eyes. Today I'm doing a May wrap-up video. I know it's like a couple of days left in May, but I don't think that I'm going to finish two of the books that I'm reading right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this one. The first book that I read is called Cockroaches by Jo Nesbø, and this is a Scandinavian noir type book, and earlier in the year I said that I wanted to read more Scandinavian noir books, just because they always tend to be really interesting and have pretty compelling stories and just have a unique take on detective novels, so I thought I would really enjoy them, and this book was a pretty decent read. I hear that the first couple of books in the Harry Hole series aren't the best and the books later on are usually better, but I decided to give it a go right from the start. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. The start was a little bit slow before I got to the good stuff, and I felt like the twist was pretty good and there were some unexpected twists and turns along the way. So overall it's a good detective novel, and I would definitely be curious to read more of his books because I know they're constantly coming out. Basically this is about a detective, Harry Hole, who ends up going to Thailand because one of Norwegian diplomats has been murdered and they have to figure out who did it and what happened there, and it turns out to be a very twisted story. So a good read if you're looking to dive into a little bit of Scandinavian noir. The next book that I read is called Homegoing by Jessie, and I absolutely love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and it just made me want to read more books like that about just an incredible family journey through generations and generations, and lots of drama and heartbreak and all kinds of things. Basically this is about 2 half-sisters who were born in different circumstances in different villages. One of them ends up marrying a white man and they live in Africa, and the second one ends up being captured and being sold into slavery and therefore ending up in America. And it's just really interesting to see how, like, generations after them, how their lives turn out completely different. And I'm not gonna spoil anything basically, but it's just a very interesting story and I cannot put that book down, so I really recommend it if you enjoy stories like that one. The next book that I read is called Marlena by Julie Bunton. I had this book for a while on my Kindle. It was one of the abandoned Kindle books that I had, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a go and see where it goes. I did not enjoy this book. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Basically this is about Kat who moves to a pretty rural area in Michigan, I believe, with her mother, and they end up living there, and Kat ends up making a new friend with the neighbor, a girl named Marlena, who has kind of a troubled family that involves her father doing drugs and things like that. So it's just, to me, it just, I don't know, my reading changed over time, and before maybe I enjoyed books about like reckless teenagers and like people being involved in drugs and like having sort of like a pretty kind of a messed up life and not having everything together. I kind of enjoyed that sort of book, and now it just feels like, I don't know, I like reading about troubled characters, but I don't really enjoy reading about things like that, I guess, especially when it's younger people having to deal with that sort of thing. So to me I felt like a book about nothing, but maybe I just missed the whole point of the book. Anyways, if it sounds like something you'd be interested in, definitely give it a go, but be warned, I did not enjoy this one. The next book that I read is called When Breath Becomes Air, and this is a non-fiction book. I've been really looking forward to reading this one for a while. I've heard so many great things from different people. I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. It was a very good read and I read it pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure I read it in like one sitting. It didn't have to put it down and pick it back up. It was just a very swift read, but it was very heartbreaking, but also kind of hopeful in a way, just because the way he explained his experiences and his kind of how he was going through all of that really gave an interesting perspective into a situation that hopefully we don't find ourselves in. Basically, if you don't know what it's about a man named Paul. It's a memoir, I guess, and he ends up being diagnosed with cancer, so he documents his journey through that time, and he's also a doctor, so he was also familiar with different procedures, different, you know, outcomes and chances of survival and things like that. So he was more informed than your average person would be. And I think that made the whole book even more interesting. And you also got to hear like a closing part of the book, an epilogue from his wife, which was also very heartbreaking. And I just really liked it. If you're looking to read more nonfiction books, I definitely recommend this one if you haven't read it yet. The next book that I read is called Stay With Me, and I've been wanting to read this book for a while. When I finally got it from the library on my Kindle, I was really excited to get around to reading it. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. This is about a woman who ends up getting married, and her husband decided he should be taking another wife. There's just going to be just the two of them, and I guess this is all contingent on the fact that she gets pregnant and has a child, and their, you know, lineage continues on. However, she has trouble getting pregnant with the child, so one day she's surprised when a second wife emerges, and she has to kind of just accept it and go along with it. Meanwhile, she just does whatever she can to get pregnant and to just kind of get rid of the second wife. This was interesting, especially because it was narrated, you could get it from both perspectives. So one chapter would be from the woman's perspective and the other one would be from her husband's perspective. So you kind of got the sense of both sides, how they felt about it, and how they worked towards a resolution, like having a baby, and all the hardships that came with it. So it is kind of a complicated book, and there's definitely a lot of ups and downs, but I really enjoyed it. So if it sounds like something you'd be interested in, definitely give it a go. The next book that I read is called Hunger by Roxane Gay. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy her books. This is, I think, probably the 3rd book that I've read written by her. This one is about her struggle with her weight and her body image and kind of accepting her the way that she is. This also dives into why she kind of, what affected her so much that she had to gain weight. Basically kind of tells a story from when she was a child, and then what happened, and then how it reflected on her and how she behaved and how she felt. And that was just also very heartbreaking at times too to read. So I really enjoyed it, and I think you will too if you like her other books, or if that's something, or that's a topic that you're interested in general. So I really enjoyed this one. Last but not least, I read The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter, and I gave that book 3 out of 5 stars. I've heard a lot about Karen Slaughter and mostly good things, so I thought, alright, I like thrillers, I like mysteries, this sounds like the kind of thing that I'd be really interested in. So I decided to pick this one up. The writing was very good and I enjoyed it. It was easy to get into. The problem that I had with this book mostly, and that's why I gave it 3 stars out of 5, is because it just felt like it was dragging on forever. So it started off with like what happened, crime. It was very, very gruesome and just really unpleasant, really uncomfortable, and I was kind of really shook by it, and I was like, alright, like this is going to be the speed that the book is going to go at, it's going to be really intense, and I'm just going to be like at the edge of my seat the entire time. But after you kind of learn what happened, the book really slows down, and for a while there, in like the entire like middle chunk of the book, there was nothing really happening, and I kind of put the book down a couple of times and picked it back up, and I just couldn't stay interested in it because it just wasn't maintaining that speed that I liked. This one, while it was really well written, it was too slow. So unfortunately, overall, I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have if it was maybe cut down by a lot. So there you have it. Maybe that sounds like a book for you. So that's it for my May reads. I'm currently reading 2 books. One of them is Chalkman, which I've heard a lot about, and kind of mixed reviews. I'm enjoying it so far, but I'm not too far into it, so we'll see how it goes. The second book that I'm reading is Swimming Lessons, which is a quick read, but I keep reading it. I don't keep reading it continuously, so that's why it's been taking me a little longer than expected. So that's it for my wrap up. Please let me know if you've read any of these books, and also please let me know if you're looking to read any of them in the near future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.